Hello, finally, and welcome to the Friday Night Social. We're just going to do a sound check with everyone. Mike, can we hear you? Mike, are you there?
Testing. One, two, three.
Ollie in Canada, can we hear you? Are you there?
I am here.
Oh, we've got Ollie in Canada. This is very exciting. Mikey in Chicago, are you there? Mikey, are you there?
Volume.
That's just
he's messing with us. Oh, Mikey. Oh, wow. Rachel up in space. Are you there? Are you there, Rachel? Can you hear us? No, don't do that.
I can hear
you. Mikey made the same joke. I don't know.
It's a classic.
It is.
So I'm out and about at the moment, so I'm on my laptop. So sorry if the quality isn't quite what people have come to expect on this channel. And obviously there was a little bit of faffing around there before we got started. But we're here now, and that's the main thing. I'm going to open my beer. And we're going to talk, the first thing, I just want to say a big hi to everyone in the chat. We've got One Angry Pagan in there. We've got Billy Kershaw. We've got Sarah Davis. We've got Scott. We've got Diz. We've got Chris C. If you'd like to join them in the chat, all you need to do is hit that nice, lovely subscribe button. If it would appear, that would be nice. No, it's not appearing. It hates me. Oh, actually, no, it probably is appearing. It's just appearing underneath our screen here because I haven't set it up right. Okay, well, never mind. You can't get everything right, can you? Or in my case, you can't get anything right. Jesus Christ, I'm having one of those days. There you go. Does that work? No, it doesn't. Oh, well, never mind. Anyway, subscribe, and then you can join the chat with everyone else. Right, we're going to be talking about Sangita Myska for a moment. We've got a Canadian. We've got a rogue Canadian and a rogue American in the chat. Do you even know who Sangita Myska is?
Yes. I had a brief rundown on what happened just before the show started, but other than that, no, I didn't know what was going on.
Okay, Mikey, were you listening to James O'Brien this morning?
Yep.
Was it this morning was it this morning?
Yesterday morning.
Was it yesterday morning?
Yesterday.
And
but no, I have no idea what it's about.
Someone mentioned this presenter who left the show, left the LBC under mysterious circumstances, and no one really knows why. And someone brought her up, and James O'Brien gave them a right old earful about how, you know, there's only one person who can say what really went on, and she's remaining silent. And it's like, does he live in a world where NDAs don't exist? What do you think of all this, Mike?
I'm kind of on the fence on this one, because it is hiding behind supposedly an NDA, and if she is behind an NDA, she can't say anything. So, you know, that's why she's remaining silent, I guess. I don't know. Listen, I'm James's biggest fan, so I have to.
You have to be nice.
Sorry. So, yeah, I just have to take some of what he says as being reasonable. And having worked in radio, he's not wrong about the fact that you have to sit there justifying your figures every week, basically. And she was in a strange slot. So, all that being said, there was some odd timing involved after the things that she said and the reaction to the things that she said.
Yes. And also, she was replaced. She's a statey. She went to state school, and she was replaced by not one, but two privately educated presenters. Vanessa Feltz and Ali Mirage. And it was like, thanks.
Be replaced, to be in a position in life where Vanessa Feltz can replace you is a bad enough thing anyway, really.
It's a bit rubbish, isn't it? It's a bit rubbish. Who we got in the chat? We've got Scott in the chat saying, hiya, Catherine. We've got Super Tiny in there saying Sangita was too close to the knuckle on Israel. And this is what the word on the street is, that she did an interview with an Israeli official, an ambassador, I think, and it was a really testy interview. And very soon after that, she was dropped. And
it looked like he was spoiling for a fight, though.
Yeah.
They always are, aren't they, Israeli spokespeople?
But yeah.
Ernie Burns is saying that she's being anti-Semitically silent. Well, this is it. Like, I mean, if there was an off chance that there was an NDA and that's why she wasn't saying anything, I wouldn't pontificate. Do you know what I mean? I would pontificate. I wouldn't say that, oh, it's all her fault. She's the one who's messed everything up for everyone. And I don't really get why all of the LBC presenters, including Natasha Devon, who responded to a message that I wrote today and then deleted the message that she sent to me soon afterwards, basically saying there's only one person who can answer all this, and it's, she's not talking.
It's to trans rights, and they've all shifted over. I mean, I like James O'Brien, but he's not.
He has a difficult position on trans, doesn't he?
It's not a difficult position, though, is it? It's just
No, I think
woke-
his
woke-
position
Yeah.
is like he makes it difficult.
I don't.
Yeah, he
Yeah, I
makes
don't
it
want to talk
difficult.
about this subject, so I'm
Yeah.
going to go. Woke is good. Trans issues aside, the
Yeah.
James O'Brien defense. Trans issues aside, so fuck trans people, but everybody else, I'm in there to fight the James O'Brien defense. It's worked for him. Don't want to get and don't want 5% of my listeners getting a bit angry. No, but that's cowardice.
That's true middle, and that's why I don't hang out with people who are like true middle. Like
Yeah.
you can't be true middle when it comes to someone else's
Right.
existence.
Yeah.
That's not.
I
that's
totally
not,
agree
you
with
need
that.
You need to stand up and get in trouble and take
Yeah.
some knocks on the head until the powers that be see that it is profitable to be a good person.
Yeah.
And if they don't figure it out, then that's not the job for you. But to just, I do all these other good things, therefore I get to be true center on something because it keeps me employed. No, you should lose your job. And if you lose your job for standing up for people, then that's the way it goes. And trust me, we'll pick you up in the independent space, and we will make sure that you're he could get tons of super chats. You know what I mean? He'd do just fine in the independent sphere.
Yeah.
Nobody's free until everybody's free, and so therefore, you leave one set of rights you leave trans rights, then it'll be gay rights, then it'll be women's rights, and it's
Totally. Rachel,
behind.
Yeah, you've always said that. It's the
We're seeing it in real time in America right now.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom.
Scary.
Yeah. So, Ollie, can I just bring you into the chat? Because obviously you're not really au fait about British radio
I'm not up to
personalities.
speed. No, not
So,
really.
where are you? Whereabouts are you in Canada?
I'm on the east coast of Canada in Prince Edward Island.
Ooh, very nice. So that's not far from
Tropical.
Halifax. Where is it?
I'd have to drive across a bridge. I'm about a 5.5 hour drive.
Whoa, so that's pretty far. So
that's just around the corner in Canada, though, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's a very big country. So
Polar bears away.
I'm in the smallest province in Canada, right? My province would fit into Ontario like 5,000 times.
Wow.
Right? But to drive tip to tip, the longest 2 points, it's about 2.5 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
But we're also the most densely populated province in Canada.
I was going to say it actually took me 2.5 hours to drive from Brighton to Guildford today, so that makes your province either packed with cars and roadworks or huge.
We just got a super chat in a little while ago, from Tim Ballon. Thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. NDAs trump, not the rapist style, the First Amendment in the US, and they do as well, don't they? NDAs are bloody evil. Honestly, I think they're absolutely monstrous.
What happens if I break an NDA?
They can sue you for like every penny, and if you aren't a millionaire,
cool, I don't have any money.
Who signed the thing, but you might end up owing the money, even though you haven't got it, and then you've got to pay it back for the rest of your life on a certain amount.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is,
it'd be a real shame if I just never had anything on the book. Like these guys you can't shut me up.
No, the reality of an NDA is what actually happens is the NDA's validity gets tested at that point as to whether it's a fair and legal contract that you signed. I've been subject to an NDA in the past after I got sacked for something, and I just went out and started talking about it. In fact, I found it kind of a license to talk about it, basically, because it was a foolish NDA that they made me sign.
The person that Sangita got the dust up with before our show was canceled was Avi Hyman, the Israeli government spokesperson, and she was just like asking him questions, and then he was not answering them, and you know how that all pans out. But that was his name, Avi Hyman.
Yeah, that's right.
Shit.
But they also do a lot of slap suits in America as well now. This is the new thing. They just slap you with a suit that a poor person can't really afford. Yeah. And so you just back down. I donated to it was a small newspaper in some random state, and some billionaire slapped the whole paper, and they were suffering. And loads of people sent $5 or $10 in, and they had enough to fight it, and they won. And because the billionaire didn't expect them to stand up. So the newspaper then continued, and the billionaire backed off. But because it went to court.
But you're right. It's about money, isn't it? Can you afford to?
Yeah, that's what they do.
Can you afford to fight back?
I mean, I had a friend here he said something on Twitter about an anti-trans movement. They slapped them, and they were right, and what they said was true. but they were going to have to fork up 36,000 quid to fight it. Wow. So they just had to put an apology on Twitter and pay some money back. And it was
I'm really sorry we're having some internet issues here. So everyone watching at home, I'm really, really sorry about the fact we are dropping frames like I don't know what.
Frame dropper.
I actually think where we are is on Starlink.
Yeah.
So that would explain things.
Yeah.
Father won't like you talking like that.
They don't like us. They don't like us using our First Amendment rights to say what we think.
Other evil networks exist.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Ollie, I have a question. Is there anyone in Canada who actually wants America to invade and take over? I mean, like, surely there must be some Trump people, like some really far right people.
There are some probably. I actually work with one.
Oh God.
So I mean, yeah, there are some, but they're like, if you want a percentage, it's like 3 to 5% type of thing of the population. And
I mean, we can't talk. It's about 23% of the population of the UK wants America to invade.
Like the last poll that they did at the end of January, it was 93% do not want to be part of the United States.
But 7% do. 7% of the population are like, yeah, I'd love to be American.
Statistical noise. Statistical noise.
Exactly.
But genuinely, if you look at
if you look at right wing anomaly, right? Alberta is our Texas,
right?
So there's a lot of people in Alberta that do support the conservative government that's trying to come into power here. And if Polyev does get into power here, there is real danger that we could become it, because he could just say, okay.
Is he likely to get in?
What?
Is Polyev?
6 months ago, if you would ask me, I said I would have put his chances higher than 50%, but because of everything that's been going on, I don't think he's going to get in now. At least I'm hopeful.
Yes.
So
that's. But if you got
Trudeau also stepping down helps. I mean, I like Trudeau.
Me too.
But he did make some mistakes.
Yeah.
But and the new guy Carney that stepped in, he's got a real head for numbers.
He's a good guy.
So yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
We'll see where he goes. So like, I mean, he may be too focused on numbers. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
right?
No, I mean, I saw there's a great interview with him that the Rest Is Politics did, quite an in-depth sort of 90 minutes.
Yeah, he's well spoken. So
I've been rooting. I've been rooting for Doug Ford. I mean, I can't stand the guy, but he's been
he's fighting back, but he's conservative, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So
he's
that's
giving Trump what's for, and that's all that matters right now.
Trump's respected him for doing it, and this is what we can learn from this. You have to stand up to him. Yeah, because he backed down.
I don't think so.
He was going to bring in 50% tariffs, wasn't he? Again, and Doug Ford was like, "Oh, fuck off."
Yeah.
So
switch him off. Click.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that Quebec Hydro and Ford Ontario Hydro Power need to shut off the power for just a weekend.
Yeah.
Just shut it off for the weekend, turn it back on.
They should have done it for
the
Super Bowl
just to show them.
Problem to an extent.
That's what you got to be tactical about it.
Yeah.
So
the biggest effect will be in New York if they do that. Won't
it? New York is going to cut off power to probably 10 or 15 million people.
But it's a very blue state, and I'm not sure that's the desired effect, is it?
No, that's the. I mean, that's why
I mean, it's the overall picture that's going to be shown because of it too. Like, Trump's going to have to react to it.
If Canada can switch off Times Square even for an hour,
so
it's pretty much the.
I don't know if we could do that. I don't think we actually power downtown New York. No,
they have upstate New York, like Buffalo.
But it's it's the plot of 0 Hour on Netflix. Have you seen that De Niro series?
No.
Everything starts going wrong.
It's essentially a group of tech oligarchs get together with a bunch of right-wing senators to cause a 1-minute power outage in the States, all across the state.
Yeah.
It's a bit Busman's holiday.
I don't think that they'll ever shut the power off. I think they'll just threaten and threaten and threaten. But the only way the power's getting turned off is if it becomes something more than a trade war.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's difficult with the left having spent all this time saying that Netanyahu shouldn't use electricity as a weapon. in Gaza. But Canada can't really switch the power off tomorrow, can they?
So,
No.
although we can go, come up with other power sources, we're shutting it off in 6 weeks.
And
set a clock.
There was a message from the wonderfully named storyteller because Teller was taken 02. Wouldn't it be inviting a lot of potential Democrat voters into the country? Surely it would doom the Republicans if Canada became part of America. You're thinking that.
Oh no! Wait! We're never going to be the 51st state or the 52nd state. We're going to be Northern Puerto Rico. We won't get votes. We won't get votes.
No, but I was going to say, like, the idea that America's going to have more elections, it's just not going to happen. Hello, Scott.
Yeah.
Mikey's turned into Scott. What happened then? Oh no, is Mikey split apart? He's now a different person. Excellent. That was good. Mikey left and Scott turned up. What happened there? Was it like Thunderdome?
We're only allowed one American at a time.
Yeah, tag American.
We've also got
quota's been filled.
We've also got Tim in the chat. Thank you very much for the super chat, mate. If Canada turned off the power, Trump will call it an act of war.
He would, yeah.
Yeah, well, he declared, or he said it was a potential state of emergency, didn't he? If Canada put tariffs on electricity.
Yes.
So, which is something you've been saying for months, Graham, that, at some point Trump is going to choose a moment to declare a state of emergency and implement martial law.
He's trying to give it up so that someone goes nuts and does something really horrible, and he'll go, right, that's the pretense that I need. I think he's gearing Elon Musk up to be his sacrificial lamb. I think he's going, look at everyone, look at this weirdo, look at this weird bloke who's taking all your money and making your life a misery. And there'll be some disgruntled worker who worked for the government who's lost everything. They've lost their home, they've lost their family, they've lost, they're living in a car, and they'll blame Musk for it, and they'll have some kind of access through a back door, through something that they know that, because he's worked for the government, and they'll use it to get to Musk, and then take Musk out, and then Trump will use that as a pretext to say, right, martial law. No one's safe.
Well, Michael Cohen
probably take out one of his kids by accident.
Michael Cohen, who obviously knows him quite well, he's always said that when America goes full fash, and Trump is in control of everything, he'll do what Putin did. He'll have Elon in the White House kneeling down. He'll make him sign a load of papers and nick all his money. Then he'll get Bezos and take all his money, and he'll just take them all out because he can. And there's not a person that will stand against him. He'll just take all the other oligarchs' money and go, it's mine now because I'm the king. And Michael Cohen's been saying that for 4 years, that Trump's just going to take the money off the other guys once he's got to a place where he can take it.
Yeah. News has just come in that Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and 9 others from the Democrats.
10 of them voted,
voted with the Republicans to just give Trump and his cronies all the money in America.
Yep.
They should all be impeached.
Oh, they're going to have bigger fish to fry. Because what all of this spells, which I'm not going to spell out in grand detail, is revolution. So keep it up. Some of us are ready. Some of us are not. Keep it up.
Yeah.
I love this. We've got the American
times.
Civil War brewing in here. We've got Canada arming up to fight America. It's
I can't wait for the Civil War. We get our white tents all pitched out. Hi, Esmeralda, my darling. I'm fighting for the night before the war, like my candle. We will be going into battles. We get it all. The greys and the blues. Oh, it's going to be exciting, isn't it?
And also, Graham, you'll get your wish because Hollywood will be tied up in the Civil War, and we'll be the ones making the films
We'll
about it.
We'll have to make the films.
Yeah.
I heard Final Draft are doing a competition at the moment, so I'm going to have to send some of my scripts to Final Draft. Did I send you? Did I send you the first? Mike, did I send you the first bit of Be the Stranger? Did I send that to you?
Yes, you did.
What do you think? What do you think?
I like it. I like it a lot.
Good.
I haven't read it yet.
Have you not read it? It's only 3 pages. It's just the start, just the intro.
Yeah.
It's the one about 2 brothers, and one of them dies, and the other one who doesn't like traveling has to finish the other brother's travel
trip.
It's going to be semi-autobiographical. And very funny and very silly.
What was your twin brother's name, Graham? Is he the one that actually wrote the first book?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the writer guy that wrote the first book.
No, it came from
Graham. Won't write the other two.
The idea.
That's why Graham can't write the next two. Yeah, because
the idea
he didn't
came,
actually write the first one.
Yeah, the idea came from when I was traveling. I mean, it was like after I've been to like 180 countries or something. My brother said to me, "You better not die before you finish this, because I'm not taking your fucking ashes to the last few countries that you need to visit." I was like, actually, that'd be a really good pitch for a film.
Actually, that's quite sweet of your brother, though, because he was saying that is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was very
I
sweet.
know. Thanks, Mike. Not you, Mike. My brother, Mike. Ivan, thank
I
you
would have
very
just
much.
lied to your urn and said, "Yeah, I did it."
Lied to your stupid
Yeah,
face.
yeah. I took him. Yeah, it's great.
Ivan's just dropped a super chat in. Thank you so much, Ivan. I wish I could give you an animation, but the animations aren't working. I've had a disastrous meeting this evening with my local Labour Party. My question was cut short, but other people were allowed to ask their questions in full. I have autism resulting in slow processing FFS. I'm really sorry about that, Ivan. And what in in the future, when you stand up, say, it might take me a while to ask this because I'm on the spectrum, or however you describe it, just so people are aware.
And depending on the local politics in local Labour, are a nightmare most of the time. But write to the chairman and explain that.
Yeah. So they know to let you give you a bit more time.
To give you the time.
Yeah. Because I understand that, the whole thing of like slow processing and not being able to sort of collect the words together that you need to say and how difficult it can be. And it's a reasonable adjustment for them to know. But if they don't know, then it's a difficult one. So sorry to hear that, Ivan. Thank you for the super chat. And Philip says, Ivan, that's not good. You kind of expect this lot to have a bit more patience, or maybe it was an excuse because they didn't like your question. It could have been. And Maggie's saying, surely they know you. They need to be more empathetic. And Chris is just saying that's disgusting behaviour from an MP. Fair enough. Where were we? We're in the middle of war or something.
Civil War.
Civil War and Canadian War. What will we call the Great Canadian War?
Great Canadian War?
World War
The
III.
big freeze with all these frozen Americans.
Well, Canada's part of NATO. You say NATO's not going to...
Oh, did they forget that part? Oh, see, this is the thing. I love when you guys have all these theories about America and forget that you're directly responsible for some sort of response. You're like, oh, we'll just make a show about it. It's like, oh no, your country is done for. Can you imagine what it's going to do to your economy?
Just for example,
hold on, Ollie. Can you imagine what your British economy is going to do when you have to muster an army to fight us?
You've not been down the West End on a Saturday night. We've got the army.
Oh, okay.
I think we call it the Tesla War. I think Canadians will line up the border with a load of catapults and just fire their Teslas over the border into America.
No, I don't think so. And we did just recently buy 9,600 of them on a weekend.
Yeah. Funny.
The France just recently stationed one of their nuclear submarines out of Halifax Harbor.
Oh, wow. That's handy.
They needed more maple syrup.
It is history repeating itself. France and England manoeuvring to see if we can keep Canada from the Americans, like the last time we did that.
Yeah.
Was that the War of 1812?
I think so, yeah.
Great days.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. That's when we burnt down the White House. That's why it's white, isn't it? Because you had to paint it.
Cover the White House still wood?
I think that Americans might not be prepared for Canada in the same way that they've been training for many years in the Middle East in like desert conditions, and then suddenly to be in like the Arctic tundra, it would be like Vietnam all over again. You know, like in Vietnam, that they didn't know how the Viet Minh, or the Viet Cong as they called them, but the Viet Minh, they couldn't suss out how they kept finding them like in the dark. They thought they had night vision goggles or some kind of futuristic technology that didn't exist at the time. And they simply smelt their aftershave. Like the GIs were wearing aftershave in the fucking jungle. And the Viet Cong were like, guys, I can smell them.
But it's true,
I can smell them a mile away. I can smell the cologne.
Hey, Ali,
as I understand it, sorry, the US has not taken. They've essentially delegated all Arctic training to the Baltic, to Norway and Finland and whatever. They don't actually go on training exercises in the snow.
Oh, really? Well, that's going to stuff them up if they go to Canada, isn't it?
So Alex,
all wearing their millions of dollars of desert fatigues and no white coat.
It'll be like Germany outside Stalingrad, won't it?
Yeah.
The Americans will be right outside Toronto, and they'll all in the snow,
Freeze to death.
freezing to death.
Not that much snow in Toronto.
Not really.
So Ali, can you explain to them how everyone in Canada lives along the border or like within 100 miles of it?
90% of our
way up.
population
Toronto
lives
has the lake
within
effect.
100 miles of the border, or like 500 miles of the border. We don't live up in the tundra either.
Yeah,
So
they don't.
it's like-
I was like, what are the Canadians gonna do up there? They'll be like, I was like, dude, do we have to fight
Yeah.
way up here? Can we just fight out by the border where it's temperate?
Most
It's
of
a
the
lower
northern
parallel
states
than
are
you
about the same as what we're used to.
Well,
Graham, what
if everyone
parallel
just
is that?
just retreats and lets the Americans in until they get a bit too far.
What are we going
it
to
gets
do up
really
there in all
cold.
that snow
Yeah,
ourselves?
like what they did in Moscow
waiting.
to Napoleon, didn't they? Just like leave the city and he turned up and there's no one there. He's like, well, what's the point of this?
What we're learning here, Ollie, is that even the Canadians don't want to live in northern Canada. That's what you're saying.
Winter peg? No.
No.
Yeah.
There's a reason why all our northern cities have almost no population. Nobody
maybe
wants to
just
live there.
maybe just give him that. That's the
Right.
deal, basically.
So-
Take the North, Trump. It's fine.
Maybe
basically.
young men go to Edmonton to work in the oil fields, make bunches of money because they pay ridiculous amounts to people that go do that money. But you only go for a couple of months, then you come home. Then the
Very
next
much
summer
like-
you go for a couple of months, you come home. Right? You
Very
can't
much like
stay in it there for that
Aberdeen.
long. Yeah.
That's
So
why Aberdeen is a popular city. The only reason is you earn a lot of money, basically.
Maybe you should. Canada should do sort of like a Ukraine thing. You know, when they took Kursk, maybe you should head south and take Seattle.
California, yeah.
Surprise them.
no. Anything to anger the beast is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Gotta be honest with you. Anything to anger the beast is a bad idea.
Genuinely, how serious? I mean, like there
Very.
are two ways to look at Trump, isn't there? There's the take him
All right.
seriously but not literally, or take him literally but not seriously. But
No,
You know-
he is very serious about this, I think. He sees us as a resource for the country. I feel the main reason he's doing the tariffs is so that his people can feel pain, and then he'll have an excuse.
to blame it on you guys, basically.
Yeah.
I agree with Ollie.
So-
I think he's serious. And I think he's serious about
And
Greenland as well. It's my theory that the Russians and the Americans are giving up to divide the Arctic between the two of them.
Arctic, yeah.
Yeah.
Literally half and half.
And Ollie, give us an idea of how Canadians are feeling about Britain's attitude and response to all of this.
Have they really made a response?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, exactly. Do you just feel like because I feel like we're just letting Canada down here. We should be standing shoulder. You know,
Well,
even France
you
is
should
doing a
be at
better
least
job than
saying
us.
something. You should be at
Yeah.
least saying something.
Oh, here you are, Trump.
Right.
Here is a letter from our king.
So-
Don't try to read it. We know you can't.
No offense to your king, but Charles, you should not have invited him.
Offend him. Please
But
offend
that's
our
right.
king. We're
Here's your
happy
solidarity.
to offend our
Oh.
king. It's fine. Yeah.
I mean, I'm strongly hoping that the G7 we don't invite him. Right, that's the talk right now, that we're not going to invite him.
Yeah.
Invite America
Oh.
or
Yes,
yeah.
right.
Wow.
So, I mean, but yeah, it's he right now he's already violating the NATO law. What is Article 5? You're not allowed to threaten or
Yeah.
put
Other members.
just taxes in breach of treaties. Right, the tariffs and breach of treaties. Right, not allowed to threaten them either. We're going to make you a state. Fuck that shit. I'm sorry. I've reacted to a lot of people like not well when they've brought that up in any type of serious context with me.
Yeah,
so.
no, that's fair enough. I mean,
Yeah.
the rhetoric that Trump has been coming out with is absolutely ghastly, and
Yeah.
it puts everyone in Canada on edge. Like, just
Yeah.
Even if
Canada's
he
never
wasn't
been
planning
so
to do
united.
anything, but I genuinely think
Right.
he will if he can get away with it. And it's not like the Democrats are going to put up much of a fight if he declares war on Canada. They'll just all roll over and ask him to tickle their fucking tummies. I'm getting really pissed off with the Democrats not
I
putting up a fight
told
against this
you.
guy.
I tried to
So-
tell you.
Mikey
Look, we're
has
reacting the
been
best
banging
ways
that
we
drum.
can right now.
Yeah.
Like our tariffs are concentrated on mainly on red state products.
Yeah.
The Ontario Liquor Commission was the biggest purchaser of bourbons and stuff like that from like Kentucky and stuff like that. Not anymore. We zero.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of that stuff has been taken off the shelves. When you go into grocery stores now, if the grocery stores don't have signs, people are going around the grocery stores and they're taking the American products and line them down on their side, so it's easy to identify what products are American compared to Canadians for other people doing their shopping. So
there's that picture of there's that picture of the airport as well, because all the Canadians go.
Yeah, the airport, like this time last year, the airports were full of tourists heading to the States. The airports are empty.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, yeah, we're reacting the only way that we can politely react at the moment.
Yeah.
I think the time
it is
for
an
politeness
entirely
is over, isn't it?
Yeah, it is an entirely unbelievable scenario. If you wrote it down as a script, you just go, yeah, okay.
It would be an awesome Bond film.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, especially if Bond killed them all at the end in a really,
Bond did
really
something
painful
to save
way,
everybody at the end,
and then made a really funny quip after watching them die screaming. That'd be great. I'd love that.
That's crazy because the gaslighting is insane. You know, Trump literally said, what was it, yesterday? Canada doesn't have anything that we want. I'm like, well, why'd you want them as a state so bad if they have nothing that you want?
Because
like,
we have everything we want. We have water,
oil. We don't need that.
We
don't need that wood.
But then he goes on to describe all the great things they have got. That's the problem with Trump, isn't it? Basically,
it's ridiculous.
But the accelerationist tech bro plan, which is I'm not going to name the guys because I don't want to be murdered, but the 5 tech bros that want this in their plan for the sort of slavery dome, we're the top, everybody's at the bottom, transfer all their currency into crypto, crash the dollar, crash the world. And in their new world, it includes Mexico, Canada, and Greenland in their sort of new Gilead. It's those 3 continents that they need to form and that's on their plan. They've written it down. They talk about it all the time.
Did anyone hear the Emily Maitlis interview on News Agents with the woman, the whistleblower from Facebook?
No, I haven't seen that yet. Well, tell us about it.
It is well worth listening to the interview. It's quite incredible, some of the stuff she's coming out with. But essentially her view is that Zuckerberg is planning a run for president.
You know what? I'm sorry, we're laughing at that, but we laughed at Trump when he said it.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Trump's got a bit of razzmatazz about him. He's a showman.
Yeah, but
Zuckerberg is
one of the
just
things
the most unlikable people.
I'm just thinking about it. He's data.
Yeah. No, his name is Fable.
What, from Star Trek?
Because he's
one of the quotes.
Fable.
One of the quotes she said that turned him, because she said Zuck was never into politics really, but he went to an APAC meeting. I'm not sure what that acronym is for, but all the world leaders were there.
American Israel Political Action Committee or something like that.
Right, and all the world's leaders were queuing up to take a selfie with Zuckerberg, and Zuckerberg had a meeting with Obama, who he quite admired at the time, and Obama gave him a hard time. He literally said, you have to do something about this because democracies around the world are at threat. This is back in 2016, after Zuckerberg had embedded Facebook employees in Trump's team to help them to manipulate Facebook to their own advantage. And he didn't embed them in Hillary Clinton's team. And he came away from that meeting after being bollocked by Obama and just said, well, that guy's yesterday's news and he doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. And we've just won this election for Trump. So I could win an election for anybody using Facebook. He just had this revelatory moment where he said, okay, I can do this and I can make anybody president I want.
Did you notice?
That's one of the reasons I'm worried about Polyev right now is because Facebook's all about it, and so is everything on YouTube. Every time I watch a YouTube video, Polyev commercials.
Yeah,
that's why I'm worried here in Canada. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing we're all going to face now. I was reading a report about the EU gearing up to deal with the Russian propaganda, and Trump propaganda. Yeah. And once you align Russia's dirty tricks with Facebook and Twitter and Google's knowledge and advertising power,
it's like a blitzkrieg. It's like planes and foot soldiers and guns. They don't need any of that. They use social media to soften up the population, and then they hold an election, and everyone goes, "Oh, I really like Trump. We got to vote for him." And that's it.
Vote for a dictator.
Yeah. So that's the blitzkrieg. It's an electronic warfare.
Someone pointed out, the terrible Tesla thing that happened this week where Donald Trump tried to sell some Teslas on the lawn of the fucking White House. Yeah. And he said everything is computer. And one of the lines that was really interesting that some people have picked up on was the bit where the weird man from South Africa with the plastic face, he said about how the Cybertruck, he wanted it to be something that Blade Runner drove. I think first of all he thinks Blade Runner isn't the job title, it's actually the name of the character that Harrison Ford plays in Blade Runner is called hello, my name's Mr. Runner, first name Blade. But secondly, the technological future that film prophesized was horrific. It was a dystopia in which everyone lived in this hellscape except for a few rich tech oligarchs
who left.
Did you see his interview where he was trying to quote Princess Bride totally butchered it? Yeah. He's not great with movies. He doesn't understand.
He hasn't seen any of them. He hasn't seen or read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy properly.
Yeah, he's got someone else to read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for him, and then he's just took it off his book reading list. I'm pretty sure.
He's the Cole's Notes of movies.
Yeah. Chris C says Greenland's Prime Minister has declared enough is enough in response to President Donald Trump's threat to dispatch soldiers to annex the island.
They just had an election, didn't they? How did that turn out?
The anti-American party won.
Did they?
Oh, it's proportional representation, so it was 30%, 20%.
It was really high, though. It was in the 90s, wanted to stay.
Yeah. Not necessarily pro Denmark, because there is a nascent independence movement over in
pro-independence.
They want to leave. They want to leave their partnership with Denmark or whatever, but they also don't want to be a fucking state.
Yeah.
I think the NATO protection and the EU protection is quite valuable at the moment to them. I think if they went independent, they'd be American tomorrow, basically.
Yeah.
I was hoping that we might have a bit of we might see a blue state succeed or something, and we might see Gavin Newsom do that in California because it's a big wealthy state that finances so much of America's. And you think, and now he's breaking bread with Charlie.
Steve Bannon.
You're thinking, oh no.
And doesn't he come out as a bit of a transphobe?
Yeah. Shocker.
Can't trust him.
Very trendy now to be a transphobe. It's quite the thing to be.
But did you hear that quote that Trump said in an interview that he said that Republican senators should stop talking about trans while we haven't got an election? He said, but 2 weeks before the next election, you can all start talking about it again. He said it out loud. Basically.
Yeah, I'm going to win Wimbledon that year just to piss them off. I'm deciding I'm going to take over tennis.
I mean, I believe in you, Rachel, but I think a bit of training might be necessary.
Yeah, possibly. 58.
Women aren't very talented, so there's no way that.
Well, I have a competitive advantage, right? That's what they all say. I must be brilliant.
Yeah, Rachel's
never held a racket before. Be fine.
Yeah.
Holding it backwards.
She'll win
Why
all
don't
the
they
medals.
put the big end down there? Make way more sense. I gotta hold this net.
We just had the super chat come in from Tim. Thank you very much, Tim. That's very kind of you. Ad nauseum in your browsers to screw with the tech bros. What's ad nauseum? Is that an ad blocker?
Don't know.
Must be.
Yeah. Ad blockers piss them off. As does. Using VPNs and BitTorrents and stuff like that.
I use VPNs, but I also use a browser called DuckDuckGo, which is just wipes everything. It's really good. Yeah. It just wipes everything.
There's a very strong argument for, we've got to buy bombs and missiles, obviously, but that's going to be disastrous for all of us. But there's a strong argument for Europe sorting out its defense against tech.
Yeah. Portugal's just cancelled all its F-16s, so that's good.
It's for you.
Sorry, guys. I don't know who that is. I had to stop.
No, they're back. They want to speak to you, mate. Do you want to get your phone? Well, put them on speakerphone. Answer it and put them on speakerphone.
Yeah. So, Zuckerberg.
It's a-
Hi, yeah, I'm
It's
on
a
Zuckerberg.
it's an
Give me the
American
Zoom
friend.
link.
It's an American friend of mine who I guarantee you is drunk, and he's ringing me.
It's not
Put
Wayne,
him
is
on.
it?
Put him on.
He's,
Oh,
he's not
geez.
American.
Wrong.
A bit early in the day. Early in
I
the
can't
day to
do
be
that.
drunk in America, right?
How dare you?
If I was,
Leaving
if I was in
ourselves
America
Atlantic,
now, I
so-
would not be sober for a minute of the day.
I'd
because-
be
drunk all the
for 4
time.
years.
yeah, just a 4-year bender. That's what I'll be on
Yeah.
right now.
That's it.
You already are a 4-year bender.
So, yeah, the most surreal thing this week was that thing with the Teslas on the lawn of the White House. But the weird thing is, it kind of stopped the Tesla stock from going down. Like, people watched it and went, "Oh yeah."
But that model had been subject.
Well, that's
to
for the stock. They didn't buy any cars.
No, I know, but
But he was reading out the catalogue. It was written in his notes, and it was also, which I was shocked because it means he can read.
he
But
read
second-
wrong numbers though.
But yeah, numbers, and also that particular model has had 9 recalls or something. I read an article. yesterday.
Get in
Wow.
it. Drive it. It's fun.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what he did?
computer.
You know
There's so
what he
much
said?
computer.
Oh, computer.
That made me laugh. That like there's a computer on the dashboard, and he did this whole huge rant, I think yesterday, about how Joe Biden would sign everything by auto pen. Joe signed everything by auto pen, and it's like, who signs important documents by auto pen? I'm like, everyone signs their employment contracts over online. Everybody signs their credit card things online. Everybody's signing contracts
no
online
idea.
all the time. And it's like you're trying to make Joe Biden look stupid because he understood the technology that you don't understand.
Did you?
so
Did you also see that he said he couldn't drive the car because the Secret Service wouldn't let him?
He also doesn't know how to
Right.
drive.
He doesn't know how to
I
drive.
want to point
Yeah, but
out
then-
something really
He has
funny
to
about
drive.
that people might not have picked up on. You want me to start it up? It's a Tesla, stupid. It doesn't make any noise when you turn it on. There's no engine. You big frothing dumbass.
Yep.
But that was
It's all
so
computer.
Freaking a vroom vroom.
when
It's
he
all
when he said
It's all computer.
he couldn't drive it anymore. Musk turned around to him and said, "Well, they auto drive.
self-driving.
He'll be able to drive by himself." And Trump went, "Yeah, I'll pass on that. I'm not going to do that."
Yeah, because ultimately he's not as stupid as we all think.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
He knows that self-driving isn't the best program on there.
It's not
I was in
gonna
a
work.
I was in a minicab, in a Tesla minicab, and he was like, "It's got self-driving," and he stopped driving and started self-driving. I was like, "Could you put your hands back on the wheel, please,
Just
and
switch that
drive
back
the
off."
car?" Considering
Okay, I'll pay the
this is
car,
your
not you.
job, huh?
Okay, I'll pay the car, not you.
So
You know what I mean? Like, put your fucking hands on the wheel, dude.
we just got a message from Tim with the £5 super chat attached. Thank you very much, Tim. It's very kind of you again. Ad nauseum clicks on adverts randomly in the background to obfuscate your browsing and interests, so it confuses what you like. But you just see yourself getting adverts for the maddest shit. If you go down that rabbit hole, I don't know. But thanks for the super chat. I heard.
Also, isn't that what cookies are anyway?
Yeah.
I love
But
cookies.
this could be a friend of a friend of a friend story. But I heard that someone asked during a conference about self-driving cars, the AI, if it has to make a choice over whether to hit one little old granny or mow over a load of babies, does it make that choice? Does it decide, okay, well, we better hit the old granny then because that's only one old person rather than running over a bunch of babies? And the response was a bit unexpected. They said, no, we'll probably run over the babies because we need the data. So the data that we get from an actual human dying from being hit by the car gives us invaluable data because we can't replicate that. And that's all they care about, the data.
Yeah, the last line is always
That's
run
odd
over trans people.
and ugly.
Bet you.
Yes.
To be fair, it's probably gonna swerve and hit both of them. So let's let's be very honest here. Everybody's in danger.
Yeah.
No one is safe.
But I again, we talk about like trans issues and things. There was a woman who was talking on Twitter this week about how she voted for Trump and how he was letting her down or something. And she worked in a rape crisis center. And she's voting for a rapist. And then it got even better because she said that one of her kids was non-binary. And you're watching this video going, what the fuck is wrong with you? And it's like,
But this is about
Venezuelans down in Florida, in Doral, going, "Oh, I didn't expect him to deport me.
It's like gay
I'm
guys.
one of the good ones."
And then they lose their job, and they go, "Oh, I didn't think it was going to affect me."
Yeah.
Well, yes, it
But
does
it's-
affect you,
but it-
white gay guy.
But it's also, and we always have to remember this, that not everybody is watching the news the way that we do and consuming it the way that we are. And that's about Facebook targeting. That is genuinely about, GOP using Facebook better than anyone else. So the only political messages you see are ones that you believe are going to work for you. They never send you anything that says Trump is anti-trans.
I got, after Luigi did his thing, I got a lot of pro-Luigi stuff on Facebook, which I was quite surprised about because some of it was quite close to the bone. I didn't think that would be acceptable on Facebook, but it made me laugh.
The algorithm does feed you what you like to see, and you would love to see CEOs getting bumped off.
What can I say?
It's going to give you that stuff, right? It's going to
I never see those movies yet.
I've been convinced by video games that if you do Luigi these people, then money pops out, or a first aid kit, or more ammo.
Yeah,
one of the three.
I don't know because there's no fact checking on Meta anymore, so I'm not sure if that's
play real games.
I want to see.
Depends what the difficulty is. Not everybody.
Can I just respond to Scott in the chat? He says, "Scott, we need to see a Scott smile, please."
Scott, did you write that to yourself? Is that you?
I needed a little bit of attention, guys. Very quiet this show.
And like if he thinks, and you guys all know who he is, if he thinks that the Luigi is going to go down because he's made everybody desperate and poor, again, I'm not the target. So when this shit all goes haywire, I mean, I hope that all of those very, very skilled veterans don't I don't know what his plan is, but that's a very dumb thing to do in a heavily armed country. Is take away everybody's shit. So bankrupt them, and all they have left is canned food, bottles of water, and ammo. So they're really gonna come after me with none of those.
And also, if you look at what happens with the right wing of this stuff, somebody gets activated by these bad stories, they've got guns, they want to go and do it, but they also see the notoriety that a shooter gets, and they aim for that. And you just flick that over to the left and look at the coverage that the Luigi got. There's going to be somebody unstable and with a gun who sees that as a chance for fame.
So you're only successful. You double barrel your name before you go out with your gun, because that's the only way it works in America. You have to have a double barrel name to be successful. But it seems, I think
Kevin John or Billy Bob.
Yeah, Lee Harvey Oswald, or the guy who shot Reagan had a double barrel name, didn't he? And they get.
Oh, that's what you mean.
He did it to impress Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster, but
it'd be really funny if she wrote some letter saying, "God, that was so impressive."
Isn't she a lesbian?
Hinckley, his name was Hinckley.
She came out as a lesbian, right?
Was it Hinckley?
It was, and the guy who shot John Lennon, double barrel name.
And the guy who shot Lincoln, John Wilkes Booth.
Double barrel name.
There you go.
See, you got to, if you're going to be a successful hitman, you've got to double barrel your name. Otherwise, you miss. It's that pace. My name is Lee.
What about
Luigi?
Luigi's Mansion? He's only got two names. Maybe his middle name.
Rachel,
Mansion.
Have you informed the FBI of this theory? Because this seems like an easy way to catch them.
Well, now Cash is in charge of it. They're not.
There is no. That's the other thing. Argument. He's all of those guys who were uncovering all of those plots to assassinate Obama. They're gone, dude. You got you got that kid from the fucking thing that you gave that fake Secret Service badge. That's your protection now. So hey, go for it, buddy. That's your fucking protection right now. I hope you like them.
Yeah. Would it be hilarious if
Jamie Lee Curtis,
Cancer Kid, was in charge? So.
Jamie Lee Curtis, who is an ally, if she, did what needed to be done.
But this is the thing, right? You've got all these. You're taking all the VA benefits away and their treatment.
Yeah.
They now use guns. They've they've got nothing to lose at that point.
Veterans are totally pissed.
If your wife dies or your husband dies of cancer or something because you didn't get treatment, you have nothing to lose when your partner dies. But you've got guns. You're going to do something. There's going to be hundreds of people out. This is going to get really.
And when they
Well,
organize and go after him, that's his. Hey, good luck, buddy.
Yeah.
And then
Is that
when
what
you're
this,
gone,
there-
we'll fucking put the pieces back together. Good
There's a
luck.
trend. There's a hashtag trend on TikTok called "When It Happens." I think it is. And I think this is what they're all kind of talking about. It's this sort of they're living in a tinderbox, right? So it's just going to take one spark for.
Well, a lot of people for the last 10 years on Twitter and all over the dark web, and it's always been the Great Reset is coming, and that's what this is. This is the billionaire rising, the domes, the taking over. This is the Great Reset that they've all been banging on about for 10 years. And I when I read it 10 years ago, I was thinking, foil on head time, you're all crazy, that's never going to happen. And here we are, it's happening, and it's like, oh my god. So if there is an uprising coming and people have got nothing to look, if my wife couldn't get treatment and died, I would have nothing to live for.
Elon Musk cut off the cancer research for your wife. Yeah. Sorry, dude.
Not to bring it back to the cancer story, but I was in a cancer ward today, and all of us were dressed in these horrible gowns and trousers, waiting to be poked up the arse by a big iron stick with radiation on it. And I said to my partner, I said, I've always thought this would be a great place to recruit
My Saturday night.
some people that just don't really care anymore. Yeah, Scott, I thought of you today.
While it was up your bum.
Yeah, I was genuinely, to be honest,
A lot of people think of me when that happens.
Much better this week than it did 3 weeks ago. But genuinely, I've been trying to work out the mental.
I told you it's practice.
I'll tell you.
At one moment, I just went, I think Scott would enjoy this. How would I enjoy this? And I suddenly relaxed. I went, oh, that doesn't hurt anywhere near as much anymore.
Well,
you gotta relax.
I'm not a bottom, so it probably would. I would be like you. I would have to think to myself, well, Mike's sick and he has this all the time, so surely I could just find something.
I can tolerate this. Yeah. It was.
Going back to the other thing that about what might happen in America and rising up, the ones you should be scared of.
Thank you, Rachel.
It's okay. I just want to change the subject. No,
Thank you, Rachel.
The toughest regiment who rise up are trans people. You're kicking us out of your military. We know pain. We've had electrolysis, right? We are coming forward with our guns. You shoot us. Is that all you got? Shoot me again, mate. Oh, twice. Gender reassignment surgery. That was painless, mate. God, shoot me again. 3 times. I'm still coming. Regiment of trans people.
All your boobs are fake. So you got your bulletproof vest on already.
Don't need it. Just shoot me.
It
doesn't hurt.
Boobs.
No. Yeah, it's all there.
They're fake anyway.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, these guys, so trans people, toughest suckers on the planet, mate. What we're going through at the moment, you could bring a regiment at us. We'll just take it all.
And I don't know if, I know Trump doesn't drink, but all of his supporters do.
Yeah.
All the aluminum, all the hops from Canada. Okay. Hey, this is your party and you can cry if you want to. I wouldn't
drink a moonshine and going blind again, like we did in the Great Depression.
They won't travel all the way to Kentucky for that shit. They want to go to the store that they've driven to in their lifted F-250. I mean, the store is half a mile away from their house. They got it running diesel. They're rolling coal as they go down the road, and then they want to get their 24-pack and they want to go home. And it better be $1 for everything to and from. He promised that, and he can't deliver it. So I'm not the gas station man. I'm not the beer making man. But he is the one that's making all of that difficult.
But the
Good
thing
luck.
is, you do realize he is making he's making those people, his base, think that the Democrats are the ones that are doing all of it to them.
Yeah.
Still, that's the narrative. That's it. And the narrative is so
that hasn't sunk in yet.
Repetitive.
They're
repetitive.
They're in straight up denial mode. They don't even think any of this stuff is about to happen. You know what I mean? So as much as he says,
but this is
you guys are saying he'll blame the Democrats. They're in a fucking la la land.
He's still
so
doing
until the beer is not in the fridge, they're gonna be like, I think that motherfucker was lying.
That's not going to be till April, is it? Really?
Yeah.
Just to try and be fair to Chuck Schumer, very quickly, isn't this what Schumer?
Don't be fair to Trump.
I'm not. But Schumer effectively said to the Democrats that if we fight them on this budget, they will just blame us until September when they put their full budget through with the taxation, and then it will look like it's our fault.
But according to their House, though, we're not going to get the April because it's just going to be what, March 11th for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Right?
It's
So,
one day now for the rest of the year. One day.
yeah.
That's how they've got it through. So I was just gonna.
What the fuck?
I was just gonna say, Rachel, how about a film, right, where there's an entire regiment of trans people, right, and their guns, they change the gender of the people they shoot. That'd be fucking brilliant.
Sounds like a season 6 paintball episode for Community.
The Groomer 7000. Yeah, it would be.
I'd watch that.
I think Trump thinks that's actually happening. I think that's,
Ideas. Oh my God.
read about it.
Shooting the people and changing their gender.
Everybody's
Gender.
the fish are changing gender, the mice are changing gender.
Yes, the
They're all
transgender mice.
transing.
Can you
They're
believe that?
transmodifying.
They're spending millions on transgender mice.
Billions.
And it's transgenic.
Yeah.
Billions on trans guns.
Yeah.
Trans bazookas.
trans guns. Now, this is the rumor we
Big
need to
pink
get going
trans
around the
bazooka.
internet.
Trans guns.
Starring
Which
Eddie
country?
Izzard.
Which country would be developing trans guns?
Thailand. Sorry.
Thailand, yeah.
Thailand. There you go.
Most of my trans friends have guns, so
Yeah,
like this
there
is
you
the like the illusion that all of us like Democrats
so
or
sorry.
left-leaning people are just going to be sitting over here like, oh no, they're coming. Oh, we're waiting. Come on in. You better run that shit to DC where it belongs. Don't come around here. You don't fuck around, catch a lead infection.
Well,
Don't come around here.
Trump will think it's Transylvania because of the word trans is in there. Every American car
Transylvania,
has got
perfect.
a trans on it. I watch all
Perfect.
these
think I've
American
heard
garages
some guy-
doing that work. All these guys fitting a trans on their car, and they don't fit trans on cars
Trans
in
Am.
the UK, but they put trans.
Transition.
I'm just going to
It's
fix the
cancelled.
trans on my F520 or whatever it is. So every American car's got a trans on it, apparently.
They're
so there you
changing
go.
the gender of cars. We
They
can't
are.
do anything about it.
I love Tesla.
I heard a rumor. I heard
I
a
love
rumor that
Tesla.
he wants to change the name of the Enola Gay because it's got gay.
Yeah.
No, the
Absolutely.
It was turning them on.
Do OMD have to change the name of their song as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enola.
No, stray.
They've been at home yesterday.
Enola
It's 8:15.
Gay.
It's the time that it's always been, apparently.
I know.
Andy McCluskey, he was the guy who launched Atomic Kitten. A lot of their first songs were written by Andy McCluskey.
Really?
Is that
Well, the guy from
my-
OMD.
Yeah, yeah. Liverpool's
Thanks,
a very
mate.
incestuous music scene.
Thank
We're
you.
all
Thank
in
you
it
for that,
together
guys.
in Liverpool. But yeah, I do like that. I do like that plan. But yeah, it's just been another week.
He
It's hard
created
to.
Carrie Katona.
Yes.
That's something to be proud of.
I
Ernie-
filmed Natasha
Ernie Burns in the
Hamilton's
chat.
wedding. I filmed her wedding.
Did you?
Yes.
You
Well,
all know each
secretly.
other, don't you?
Were you
You
invited?
all literally know each
No,
other.
no,
don't
no. I
you?
was just filming it from above.
You do. You
nearby.
do. You all
Yeah, just
track
outside.
each other.
Yeah, just
You
outside.
all know each other.
No, I did the official wedding video for her back in the day.
The
There was some
Ernie-
bushes outside. the
Graham likes
venue.
to film people.
They got a
Graham
very
is
Ernie-
big
this,
hedge.
it's this wannabe filmmaker so bad. It's like it's starting to really come out.
Well, no, it was my rule that I
films
wouldn't.
weddings now.
I wouldn't.
wants to
I, would,
be
I, would, I
Steven
didn't do
Spielberg.
weddings for. I didn't do weddings part of my
Mikey has
professional
weird stuff.
stuff because
I'm working on it.
I didn't want to. But
Thank you.
because I was a filmmaker and a lot of my friends got married, there was always that question, wasn't it? Oh, would you mind filming the wedding? And I'd be like, oh, do I have to? Because it means you can't get drunk.
Can I-
You gotta take a load
yeah,
of kit
can I
with
not
you. You gotta
just-
be on the ball.
Can
You
I
gotta-
just come to the wedding?
Can I just
be
come
a
to the
guest?
wedding and have a
That'd be
nice
thank
time?
you.
No. So, Tim Bannon, thank you very much for the £5 super chat, my friend. Sprawling storm system to affect vast swathe of territory from Canada to Texas, with tornadoes threatening in south, affecting up to 100 million Americans. Is this news?
Well, it's a good job.
Wonder-
It's a good job. Musk has cut FEMA to the bone.
Yeah, it's a good
isn't
job.
it?
Famous
We're,
still there, isn't it?
We're under a wind advisory. I don't know what the. Oh yeah, let me look it up. The conversion, the miles per hour here. But we're scheduled to have anywhere from like 50 to 70 mile an hour winds.
Wow.
Governor, I'll send you the FEMA, but you got to do something for me.
112 kilometers.
Mikey, you make the mistake that we think in kilometers in England. We don't.
We don't. We're miles per hour.
Yeah, we're miles as
We
well.
do miles for speed because we're worse than America, really. We're supposed
you're
to
a
be.
colony, Nick.
Why are we worse than America? That's a terrible thing to say.
Because we're supposed to be decimalised, but we're not really.
We
only
did
do
have
bits
a
of it,
discussion in Parliament
You're
in
far
the
more
50s.
decimalised than America is.
Yeah.
Scott, do you know this? We had a discussion in the 50s in Parliament. It was brought up as a private member's bill to bring in the metric system in the 50s. The 1850s.
Yeah,
We still haven't fully done it.
And the primary reason we didn't do it was because it was all a bit French.
Yeah, but also...
I remember them trying to teach it to us in school, and we all just sat there and went...
Kilometre is a very clunky word. We've had this discussion before. You can't put the word kilometre in a song. You can put miles in a song. That's a great word to put in a song.
Kilometres and kilometres. Yeah.
I can walk 500
kilometres.
It's a clunky word. It doesn't scan very well when you're singing it. So,
did you know after the French Revolution, they also tried to introduce a 10-hour clock?
Yes, and a 10-hour week as well.
Yeah,
we bring back the guillotine. That was very handy.
That was a good French invention.
I would walk 10,000
But when I was at school, I learned both systems. And now I weigh myself in stones. I fill my car up in gallons, and I buy curtains and material in yards. But I do weigh food in ounces and fluid ounces and all that malarkey.
How many yards of curtains a week are you buying?
I do it in yards because I know what a yard looks like. I know what a yard looks like. And when I buy jeans, I buy my waist in inches. So it is. My partner weighs something in kilograms, and she tells me what it is, and I don't know what that means. And fills the car up in liters, and I have to convert that to gallons. So it is brought up on what you brought up.
I have to do it. Well, it took me a long time to learn stone, right? I had to learn that. And then I had to start learning, kilograms, because that's, so I'm talking because I'm currently on a weight loss journey at the moment. We when I talk to my best mate, he's also a personal trainer, so he's been sorting out workouts for me and stuff. He's like, so what do you weigh at the moment? And I'm like, well, such and such stone. And he's like, what's that in kilograms? And I'm like, where's my phone? I don't know. And then when I get weighed, I got weighed at the gym, and the guy who weighs me says, "Oh, it's such and such kilograms," and I was like, "Okay, let me get my phone."
What is that? Yeah. Is that good or bad?
Yeah. Is it less than last week?
Kilograms.
I think an American gallon is less than a British gallon, and the miles per hour is the same. But I used to have a moped when I was 16, and it used to say 0.8, it'd say 1 US gallon, and the garage used to say, "Oh, that's 0.8 of an English gallon." But I don't know if that's true. I just remember.
If I'm not mistaken, my moped, the mileage on it is not in actual miles; it's something completely different. So when
is it measured in kwanzas?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
It's kilometers.
What I would see is it's got 22,000 miles on it. This is not the actual miles that it's gone.
It's mopeds are terrible because they got small wheels, and it's just
Tim in the
physically
chat.
really difficult to work out the miles per hour.
Tim is in the chat referencing. Thank you very much for the super chat, Tim. That's very kind of you. Tim is being exceptionally generous this evening. Thank you, Tim.
Tim.
They changed the escape distances in tunnels from meters to yards. At what cost after we left the EU?
Was a Rees-Mogg thing.
Yeah, Rees-Mogg was asked a benefit of Brexit, and the only thing he could think of is in the Blackwell Tunnel in London or something.
Yeah,
the escape signs were in meters, and they were going to be changed to yards instead.
Well, I'd have been all right because I don't know exactly how far that is.
You can measure it in curtain lengths.
How many curtains?
In the Rotherhithe tunnel, it's still
how many curtains still get out this tunnel? So just to go back to the top of the show when we were talking about Sangita Myska.
I wondered if we were going to talk about that.
Well, yeah. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, but what I wanted to talk about is the fact that Natasha Devon, who also works on LBC, she's also a statey. She said, What I really love is being lectured about how and when I should be using my voice, and how I don't actually have a understanding of a situation I witnessed. That makes me
Stream is froze.
really happy. Has it? What? Oh God, has it stopped again?
Yes.
Oh, mine's frozen.
You're all right now.
I think the sound's still coming through. Is the sound? Let us know in the chat. The sound's still coming through. We're just not moving very much. It's Mikey playing Street Fighter. He's playing Mortal Kombat or something. Anyway, yeah, that makes me really happy and not at all want to smash things. Good morning. So basically, this was a response to someone asking about James O'Brien's reaction yesterday to someone bringing up Sangita, and this sort of, it reminded me of when someone's in an abusive relationship and they accuse the partner of cheating on them, and the reaction to the accusation is like so over the top that you're like, yeah, they're definitely cheating. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit like that. Anyway,
Methinks thou doth protest too much.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Natasha went on to say, I got myself fired by the government as their mental health czar because I was too outspoken about austerity. I quit a job as a columnist for the Times Educational Supplement because of what I believe to be transphobia. Where I see injustice, I speak up. I have not spoken about this, i.e. she hasn't spoken about Sangita being sacked. That should tell you something, right? To which I wrote... I've got to find this on my phone because it all got deleted. I wrote, blink 3 times if the unaccountable, privately educated, millionaire Nepo babies made you sign an NDA and all, Natasha. We're all friends here. To which Natasha replied, if there was anything important to say, I'll say it. What there is to say isn't my story to tell, but there's an awful lot of good people who've been played like a fiddle on this particular issue. And
what do we think she means by that?
I got back to her.
The problem is it could mean anything.
I got back to her.
There's more.
To say, like, can you be a bit more specific? And then she deleted the whole thread. So
really,
someone's tapped
Nothing
on the
to see here.
shoulder or something.
I'm surprised you asked her. I'm surprised you asked her to be more specific when she was deliberately vague.
Yes, I know.
Deliberately, she wasn't going to be. She had no intention of being specific in any way, shape, or form. It was this and the other people and the things and the places, and then they were there with the witnesses. It means nothing. It's all word salad. It's bullshit. It doesn't. I
think it's really upsetting. I think it's really upsetting. And I think that if it had been a male, if it had been a man, if it had been someone who was, privately educated, not a woman, not a woman with South Asian heritage, they would have just said, oh yeah, I was sacked for being a sexist pig, and then they'll go on to another job presenting Blue Peter the next day. Whereas she was targeted, singled out.
I know this is going to be a contentious view in the room, but I tend to agree with Fatumshuk. He's just said that I think James O'Brien wasn't protesting too much, just justifiably annoyed at this conspiracy theory because there's an NDA and we don't know the facts. There is a lot of people are making assumptions about why she was let go, and if it turns out
apparently we have inside information, right? So we have people who know her.
Anyway, so imagine there was an NDA and we weren't allowed to talk about it. That would be interesting, though, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Well, we can't talk about
it. Let's get Wayne on. Quick.
No.
We haven't been demonetized yet.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's I mean, it does say something about James's reaction, because that's actually not, if you would have listened to the guy instead of immediately going into a complete defense of the LBC because he misheard what the guy said, because he was already, locked and loaded, ready to pounce. And that's not what the guy was saying. And I get it. Like I stream, I get it. Like sometimes you mishear people and you kind of jump the gun a little bit. But that was a major jumping of the gun in an otherwise very cool and coordinated kind of day.
Yeah.
So it does make everybody think that, it does
in that
make
call
people...
in particular. Okay, sorry, Mikey, but I agree with you. I think in that call in particular, he was overreacting to quite.
Yes.
He was listening to things that this guy was saying and hearing them in a completely different way, and then he shifted towards the end and went hang on, I just figured out we're agreeing with each other on a lot of stuff here, basically.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, way to show your hand. You know what I mean? Like, why were you so already pumped up to say something about it?
yeah.
Yeah, Ruth in the chat saying I thought O'Brien's response and reaction was very poor. I absolutely agree, and I don't know. Could it be that he was overreacting so people would notice because he can't say anything and he would like to? Maybe, I don't know.
He started the conversation. He started
them.
But he started the conversation off like, oh, look, everyone's been listening to the same show. These people call me anti-Muslim. These people call me anti-Semitic. How crazy is that? He cuts the guy off, assumes what he's talking about, and then calls and accuses the guy of believing anti-Semitic conspiracy theories.
Yes.
Now, no one loaded his mouth up with those words and made him say it. He did that on his own, and it's very telling. That's on him. If he's got something he needs to work out, then he needs to work it out. But it's not our fault for noticing, guy. Like, you freaked out for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Chris C has just dropped in a science fact for Mikey. It takes tens of thousands of years for a photon to make its way from the center of the sun to the surface, then just 8 minutes to travel to the Earth.
I knew that.
Does?
There you go.
Yep.
Light speed.
It's hard
It's not what it used to be.
Hard. The mass of all that other helium and hydrogen is very hard to escape. And the only way that we can get sunlight is from quantum tunneling. So you're welcome.
Thank you.
Ernie says the problem is that even the good guys are faulty pattern recognition machines. We are prone to jump to conclusions. Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. Especially if it's a
I think
contentious issue. And I think
for me, that's
it's
the
very
NDA
contentious.
issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the NDA issue as well, because it leaves a vacuum that can be filled with stories, basically, and opinions.
But Sangita's not been on anything. Like, she's a really, really good presenter. And, like, if she had done something absolutely horrific on the same level as, you know, who's that gangly fuck? Russell Brand, right? If she'd done something on that kind of level, and then he's still on the internet. He's still making a shitload of money. He's on Rumble, even though he's been accused of SA by...
You have to admit he's independent. He's not on a commercial station. He's an independent. He has built his audience up. I mean, they're all crazy wackos, but he has built that up himself.
Yeah, and he's got a large American audience, which I don't think
He does.
Sangita would get as quickly.
Yeah. And he's been baptized now, so he's a Christian for some reason.
Oh, fuck off.
The chief scout who was then
off.
kicked out being a chief scout.
Well, of course he's a Christian. He abused
Praise the Lord.
people. You know?
It's been on social media, you just see, you know, I mean, this week there's been like 2-3 pastors now that have all been arrested for kiddie fiddling.
Yeah, the big, huge mega churches in.
It's like
Texas,
3
I
this
think,
week. I mean, everybody
yeah.
just puts "not a drag queen" hashtag every time, which is
Yeah.
great.
That's the.
But it is.
but-
But I've seen 3 mega
Not a
pastors.
trans person.
It's all projection. It's always projection.
They are
Homophobia, projection. Kiddie
Right.
fiddling,
Yeah,
projection.
right. They are what they accuse 100 times a day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is the world that the tech bros and the oligarchs want, and with
Yeah, they want us.
you can't even say we're sleepwalking into it because you don't even have that excuse anymore. 77
No, we're wide awake.
million Americans wide awake know that Trump is, and you know, even if they don't believe he's a rapist, they saw a group of people that he commanded to go and destroy the Congress and kill everyone in it. Do that. They watched it happen, unfold on the TV screens, on the phones of the people who were doing it, who were chanting, you know, Trump, 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 USA, USA, USA. They watched it all happen and they went, yes, more, please. More of that.
What I said to you on Wednesday, the JVL from the Bullwick, who I really like, wrote an article with some a breakdown of stats that shows actually a lot of Americans knew that Trump is authoritarian and they voted for it. They want that. They want it.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
There was a lot of research in Generation Z that said that they thought democracy was broken and that dictatorship would be better. Benevolent dictatorship.
Yeah. Benevolent. Yeah.
That's not what they voted for, though. No.
No.
Mine
The
would be
benevolent
benevolent.
bit was missing.
Yeah,
It's a long word.
But, you know, I'd be putting stuff in the water.
one of the problems with us being like poliophiles and of a certain age is like you got to remember like some of these kids who were like first time voters or who are like 20 or it's still like their first time, but they're a little bit older than the 18. They had Obama when they were born, and that went fine. Everything was great. Don't know what everyone's yelling about, and then let this guy have a shot. You know what I mean? Like they don't see like they don't have any historical government memories to pull back on. Like they don't know any better. And good, bad, or indifferent. When you get the Joe Rogan sphere of influence on young people, they are so stupid. You know what I mean? Like, and I do mean it as a pejorative, and I don't want to hold their hands. They need to have an upbringing where they get spanked on the butt for being a bad boy. You know what I mean? They need to do boring things to learn. Like that's life. Yeah. But they've been sold this bill of goods where they don't actually have to do that, and they can just kind of offshore that to somebody else. And then
I'm pretty sure that Elon Musk and Donald Trump
cool like me.
got the shit kicked out of them by their respective fathers. I don't think
they didn't even look at him.
You couldn't regard that as doing them no harm. No, when he did, it would be just to get him to shut up.
Have you watched the Apprentice film yet about his dad?
Yeah,
I can't watch it.
Yeah,
it's worth watching. It is worth watching.
Yeah, it is. But it is there was two things that I read this week. One was about, they call it the purple pill. During lockdown, women weren't really affected by being locked down. I mean, they were, but not psychologically. A lot of guys, the rise of the incel movement, a lot of young guys, Gen Z has got affected by lockdown more than women do. And you're now seeing the acceptance of inclusion in every country. Women are still on the ascent, but guys are now on the descent because the sort of incel movement has, this Andrew Tate thing has really sort of taken off in a lot of countries. But the other thing is the isolation, can't buy a house, all that other stuff. They need a working class party. America doesn't have that, and we don't have that. And so they're looking for, so you have people on the hard right, like Nigel going, oh, I drink beer and I smoke cigarettes. And they go, oh, that's my working class guy. I'm going to go over there. Like Trump is, I'm one of you. So that's the other aspect. They haven't got anybody on the left saying that. So they go to the right for that replacement. And the last thing is on Secular Talk, they did this thing where they were saying, well, and it was a bit like the guys on Sunday Roast who used to be on the right. They were saying, well, on the right, it's fast cars, it's cigarettes, it's drinking whiskey, it's hanging out with the guys. That's really easy. But on the left, it's all pronouns, and I have to be polite and strike up. That's hard. I don't want to do that. It's easier to be one of the arseholes.
And also,
right. And it's
like the James O'Brien thing we're debating today, and it's very easy for us on the left to just drop somebody like Job because he said this one thing.
Yeah.
Whereas on the right, you can say, I don't think Hitler killed as many Jews or any Jews.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, yeah, whatever. What's your position on tax?
Yeah.
Basically.
It is. Yeah. I get attacked for stuff on the left. I got, I post, I'm not on social media except LinkedIn, but when I post it, sometimes somebody on the left will come at me and go, well, actually, I don't agree with that. And then they give me a load of abuse about it. And I go, can we just agree that they're the bad guys?
My favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite social media comment under one of my cartoons is, and it happens every week, is somebody saying, I largely like your stuff. And you go, oh, here we go. You're not going to agree with me on this thing, basically.
Yeah.
I like it when I'm told that someone thought better of me. I'm like, who are you?
Well, I'm glad you did.
If my mum wrote that, I might be a bit disappointed. But someone I don't fucking know went, oh, I thought better of you, Graham. I'm like,
yeah. I thought better of you. I thought you would agree with me.
I'm so sorry for letting you down.
I've no idea who
strange
you are.
Person I don't know.
Yeah.
Thought you were better than this. I thought you were better than this. Does anyone know who Sir William Stanley is in history?
Say it again.
Sir William Stanley. Battle of Bosworth. 14.
Oh, I thought he's the guy that awarded the first Stanley Cup. Sorry.
No, probably was actually. Long time ago.
Canadian response.
He and his forces stood on the sidelines while the Battle of Bosworth field raged, and he saw who was winning. He'd previously swore fealty to Richard III, saw that Richard III wasn't doing so well, and he joined Henry Tudor, who was going to become Henry VII. He joined Henry Tudor's side. I think that's what Russia's going to do. I think that is exactly what Russia's going to do, because America is pissing off every other country in the world. There isn't a country that it's really got as an ally now. Maybe Hungary, if anyone gives a shit about Hungary. Maybe Argentina, which has a lot of its own problems going on.
They've got some been riots in Argentina today.
Yeah. I think that Russia is just going to sit on the sidelines, let everyone else just take, rip shit out of America, and then at the last minute come in with all of us lot, and that's it.
I honestly think that the world's going to look like Russia and America are going to be one big group, and Europe is going to be with China. That's my prediction. Yep. I think that's where we're going to be.
You might not be wrong.
I don't think I'm going to. I think we're going to be.
The one thing about China is that they have 10 and 15-year plans, and they can do that basically.
Yeah.
Even Putin can't really work that far ahead of himself. So yeah, they're just sitting on the sidelines watching. They're doing your man's job at Bosworth, aren't they?
Yeah.
Let's let them rip themselves apart, basically, and then we'll just step in and sell weapons to the highest bidder. Basically.
Yeah. And then, just keep them fighting amongst themselves. But yeah, the way that America in the last 2 months has absolutely transformed from what it used to be.
Didn't take how long, did it?
It's just, it's light speed. It's blitzkrieg. It's a blitzkrieg of, I mean, looking at it in terms of history, like they've turned against all of their allies, and they've turned all of their allies against them. Like so here, everyone here who's not American, so sorry, Mikey. If it turned out tomorrow that the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor for some reason again, would you be that dismayed? Would you be like, oh God, that's awful? I'd be like, oh well. I'm sorry to sound so harsh, but
yeah,
I
crack
really
on with your war.
I was actually thinking about something similar the other day. You guys remember 9/11, obviously, right?
Yes.
Well, 9/11 happened, and every Canada or the United States said help.
Yep.
Every NATO country said helped.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, how many would help now?
None.
Right? Like they're isolated.
I don't know. I got a horrible feeling that we would still lapdog to America, basically. At the moment.
I think Canada, being as close allies as we have been, we would still do exactly the same thing we did.
Yeah.
But what you lot don't realize is that Trump insulted Ireland this week, and so now you're all in trouble, because when we get our army and air force and navy out, you're all in trouble in Ireland. We're coming for you all.
The trans-Irish division. They're mobilizing.
We're a lot more powerful than you know. You see, we've been hiding our army and our air force and everything. We're the Leprechaun army. We're coming.
Can I just take a moment to say hello to somebody in the chat? Reverend Kathy is in the chat. He's been my biggest Twitter follower since I started the Trumpton account. It's really nice to see her there.
Oh, hi, Reverend Kathy. That's really cool. We've got Ian Cullen in there. Just wondering if they talked about cuts to PIP yet and what the general consensus was. We'll have to rewatch the beginning later.
That.
We've not talked about it. Me and Phil talked about it a little bit this afternoon on the agenda, if you want to watch that. But our general takeaway on it is we both feel like Labour are really letting everyone who voted for them down. Even if they don't cut PIP, even if they don't do these things that they're going to do, and even if we write to enough Labour MPs to actually stand up and tell the party, no, we're not going to do this no matter what. Just the fact that they're putting people who are the most, some of the most vulnerable people in society through all this stress unnecessarily is sickening. It's horrible. It's diabolical. Like, why are they doing it? It blows my mind. The idea is that they keep doing this thing where they make things sound like they're worse than they really are, and they let the tabloids write all this shit, and then they actually give the budget, and it's not quite as bad as we thought it was going to be. And I'm just like, that's a shit strategy. Yeah. That's not great, is it?
It's a real Chuck Schumer of a deal, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Mm. They're 2010 Tories. That's what they are. They've moved to the right.
I think I was saying that in the chat the other day, that Trump and Musk have shifted the Overton window so much that Keir Starmer coming out saying, I'm going to slash this bit of the civil service and cut these benefits seems positively centrist all of a sudden.
Yeah, it is. It's centre-right. I think they're centre-right, but they are on libertarian kind of human rights stuff. They are cold. They don't. if you were a left-wing party, which we bloody need in this country, you would tax the rich, you would fund the NHS fully, you would do lots more you would beef up the Equality Act, you would do so much more about environment. You do, but they haven't. They've moved to the right, and they are like Cameron's lot in 2010, but less austerity. But we are having austerity, so it's like we're missing a hard left party that represents unions, represents people.
But do you think that party could exist in our country? I mean, first of all, leftists
not with
argue with each other all the fucking time. This is a huge problem.
Yeah,
and secondly, no one's
No, we
gonna fund
don't.
it.
No, we don't, Graham.
We don't.
No, we
don't even argue that
Right,
much. Why would you even
There's
say
the
that?
person with the hat on.
If
The
that's what
non-hat
you're saying,
people
I
don't like
agree
the
with
hat
you.
people.
Shane in the chat has just dropped £5 in. Thank you so much, Shane. I'm gonna have to get going soon, actually, because we're away at the moment, so I want to go and spend time with the family. Shane K, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Canada has poutine, whereas all they've got in the US is Putin.
It's Putin. Oh, very nice.
I like what you've done there. Do you like
Very
poutine?
nice.
Ollie, do you like poutine?
I do, but I prefer fries with the works, which is basically poutine, but you add hamburger in there too.
Whoa!
With curd?
So you put a layer of French fries, right? You put a layer of French fries. On top of that, you put a layer of hamburger, like ground hamburger.
Yeah.
Ground beef. And then you
Canadians-
put cheese over the top of that and gravy over everything to melt it right down through.
Canadians are basically Americans with universal health care, aren't they? That's what you're saying.
Oh, you take that back,
that's I don't know you, but that's almost offensive, you know.
My pet peeve, because I used to go to Toronto a lot, is, and I was trying to break the Canadian breakfast system, because unlike in England, you go into any cafe, sausage, egg, bacon, $2.10, lovely jubbly, cup of tea. But in Canada, you have to have something on the side, and it's like, so they give me hash browns, which I don't like and I don't want, and I go, so you get eggs and you might get sausages, but you could have the bacon on the side, or you have the sausages on the side.
Yeah.
I go, tell you what, take the hash browns away and give me the sausages for free. No, you've got to have the hash browns. Don't like hash browns. You have to have something on the side. I don't want anything on the side.
But the worst bit is
that system. Oh no, not in Canada. They won't let you break it.
But in the States, it's even worse. Where
you
you get hash browns, bacon, sausage, egg, and they put fruit on it. And you go, what have you done? Why have you done this?
Have you eaten any of this stuff you're complaining about? It's delicious.
It's delicious, but strawberries on bacon, I'm not buying that.
Yeah, you know what though?
What about bacon on pancakes with maple syrup?
It's the best thing in the world.
Absolutely.
All right,
I had that.
I'm gonna upset Mikey. Do you guys like a good bacon cheeseburger?
Yeah.
Oh, here
Right.
we go.
Add peanut butter to it.
No.
Fuck off.
Seriously, add peanut butter to it.
Absolutely not.
That was the
all your
correct
normal
response.
condiments, everything you like
How
on
dare
it.
you?
Add
I'll tell you,
peanut
I went to
butter.
a burger van yesterday. Actually, had a chicken burger with peanut butter on it. I was like,
We
we're
were having
fucking
such a lovely
crazy
conversation as well.
Yeah.
This
so-
is-
Ollie has
See, this is-
until you
butter.
try it,
This
No,
is-
it will
I
never
assume
happen.
It would be a bit like a satay.
This is how
Have you ever had a
alliance,
peanut
the
butter
alliance on the left breaks down.
Exactly.
ultimately.
We can't even agree on our sandwich fillings.
Have you ever had a peanut pâté? That's the flavor it adds, is that peanut flavor.
I like Reese's Pieces. I really love that
So-
peanut.
I live for Reese's Pieces, but I'm never
Yeah.
putting peanut butter on my hamburger. Fuck
Americans
that.
can't do chocolate.
Absolutely not.
Tim-
I think you get one of those round Reese's Pieces, the big ones, and stick them on a burger.
That's
Oh.
Well, then you're putting chocolate on your burger as well. That's
that's
fucked
chocolate.
This is what
up.
killed
That's-
Elvis,
that's-
says Ernie Burns.
Stop.
Tim in the chat dropped £2 in a little while ago. New car every 3 years. Is that right? I don't know what that's a reference to. Does anyone know what that was a reference to?
Teslas?
Maybe it's just like
That's,
maybe it's a
Diabetes in a
crossword.
bun.
that's
New
the
car
lease system,
every
right?
3 years. Is that right?
That,
So
that's
it'll be
the
a
lease
word
system instead
meaning
of
new
buy to
car,
own, right?
or something new, and then it'd be an anagram of car, and then it will have an R in it for the right, and I don't know. I haven't got a clue.
Don't know what's going
3
on.
hours for
3
the
years
3
for what?
years.
That's a lease.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a lease, right?
yeah.
That's a lot of dealerships do that. There, you'll sell you a car for 3 years, and you got to return it to them.
36
Sign
months.
a new lease, get a new car.
Super Tiny is up in your peanut butter there, Ollie, saying and chili sauce.
Yeah.
Sure. Whatever you like on a burger.
Chili
Plus peanut
sauce
butter.
is fine, but,
Yeah.
but peanut butter.
Just try it. Just try it.
You guys don't need a war. Just keep going to your fast food restaurant.
Listen,
that's
population.
if you're scared to try it on the whole burger, just get yourself your regular burger and a little bit of peanut butter just on a corner of it, and just try it. Give the peanut butter just enough time to warm up and start melting.
I live in the middle of nowhere, and we got
Unless you hate peanut butter.
We got a lot of chickens, and because we have eggs. I'll explain that to you later, Americans. But we have eggs.
Yeah.
And
price of eggs $8.99 for 30 eggs in Canada at the moment.
Wow. You get.
What are you gonna do with 30
$2.99 for 6 in Tesco?
I pay £3 and I'm offended. I'm so upset.
When Trump comes to the UK, we have to throw eggs at him, don't we? Just to show off.
Yeah, we do.
Show that we've got
so many. $2.99 for 6. But we got so many rats, and I tell you what, the way we catch them in all these humane traps is peanut butter. They go crazy for peanut butter rats.
Yeah,
they love it. All licorice, all sorts.
You know what we don't have here?
Are you calling Ollie a rat? Is that what you're saying?
You know we don't have
Ollie a
here.
rat.
You know what we don't have here, Ollie? Rats infesting our fucking houses. And sorry, we have a bird flu.
Hello,
Like
we're
a sinking ship over there.
Hang on, I've been on the New York subway.
Cold.
I've been on the New York subway. It's
most
a
American
washing
houses
rats.
have roaches.
It's like fucking Willard down there.
Yeah, you got a lot of
Mikey's-
roaches.
once again, Mikey thinks we're all living in the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Graham thinks we all live in the fucking tube. Like, this is it.
There's
Oh,
more rats in
blimey.
New York
Get
City
me
than
a
there is in the rest of the
turkey.
fucking continent.
Anyway, right, I'm gonna have to call it a night there. I'm sorry, unless you don't want to keep talking.
I have to
No,
go.
no,
I gotta make
Put
sense.
Mike in
I'm gonna
charge
get
of
up
the
early in
chat.
the morning.
Yeah.
My stuff's already,
Mike-
my dinner's already made.
But thanks so
overstretched,
much for coming on the show, Ollie. Lovely to meet you, mate. I hope you come on future
Yeah,
shows.
lovely to meet you, Ollie.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
you can give us updates of how the war's going
Yeah.
on your side of it, and Mike can give us updates on his side of it. It'll all be good. The Great Lakes, the War of the Great Lakes, the Great War Lakes, the lakes
That's
of the Great War.
the name of the war. The
Great
Lakes
War.
War,
Great
brilliant.
Great Lakes.
So, before we go, is it easier for us to fight all of the Canadians or fight one person? That's all I want to know.
One person.
Oh, there you go.
Play a hockey game. One hockey game.
Just saying.
Over one game.
We've already
We don't
done
have to
that.
cross the
Canada
border
won.
for our
We
fight.
just did. We just
just
did that
did
last month and kicked their ass.
Kicked America's behind.
I would, or you could just, send an unvaccinated child into the White House and.
Well, they already have that. It's Marjorie
We
Taylor.
don't
Greene.
have
Wipe them all
unvaccinated
out.
children. We have health care.
She's vaccinated.
Aren't they starting
Did
in
you not hear
Texas
about?
with
Did you hear about
measles?
the measles parties? The measles.
Yes,
parties.
measles parties.
That's in the States.
RFK, who, let's not forget, RFK is vaccinated against measles, and so are his children. But he doesn't
is
want
Marshall
your
Green.
children to be vaccinated because he wants them to die.
Chickenpox parties in the 70s.
Yeah.
Not measles.
That makes sense. You don't die from chickenpox unless you're older. But measles, they will kill you.
Yeah,
Deadly.
yeah, it
And
is
the
pretty
most
fucking deadly.
the most transferable illness that we know.
Are we done? Are we done here? I have an Ebola party to take my little.
Right, Mikey, you head off to your Ebola party. Mike, thank you. Ollie, thank you. Rachel and Scott. Mike, and also thank you everyone in the chat. Thanks to my mum who's in the chat. Hi mum, how you doing? Thanks to
Mum.
Wayne
Hi,
for
Mum.
shouting Arsenal at us, and One Angry Pagan for shouting Exeter City. I'll be back on Sunday with the Sunday service, so I'll see you then. And until then, I'll say thank you so much for watching. Thanks for the super chats, and until next time. You know what? The credits probably aren't going to work tonight, so I might just have to just turn it off.
Do you want us to?
Dead
Do
end.
you want us to
Just
sing the
sort of
theme
wave.
tune?
No.
Yeah, well, I'll press the button and see if it works, and if it doesn't, we just wave, and it'll just stop as we wave. Okay, so hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Oh, it worked. Did it work? No, it kind of worked. It didn't quite work.